welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am going to be working on Scraplift Crafternoon. This week we are scraplifting a lovely layout that was picked from Instagram. I will put the creator's information in the description box below and you can check out her Instagram. It has some beautiful stuff on it. Now I'm also going to throw that layout up here in the corner for you to look at so you can see what we're doing this month. There's some stitching, some mixed media, and lots of tickets. Now I don't have the collection that she used for her layout, but I did find this pattern paper of tickets from Maggie Holmes. It's from Paper Pad. I found that while I was searching for stuff for my May counterfeit kit. And no, this is not a preview of what's in my kit at all, but I was quite pleased to have found that. I also found this one. It's a little bit thicker than that one, although not much. Now there are quite a few round elements on hers, and I thought I might cut these out, fussy cut these out, and maybe even put some glossy accents on a few of them so that they look more like the brads that she and the other items that she chose on her layout, or I might dig into my flare. We'll see. I pulled this one out because it's the right color scheme. I was also comparing this piece of paper to the new Simple Stories My Story collection that I just got, because there is a piece of paper in there just like this. So, and I've heard, and I don't remember where I read this at, that particular collection, or no, it was Flea Market, not My Story. It was Flea Market. But I heard that particular collection was a collaborative effort between Simple Stories and the designers at Crate Paper. But again, I don't remember where I heard that at, so I don't really know if it's even accurate, but I digress. I am also going to be playing with these 4 photos of my daughter and my sister's son Josiah, so they're cousins. And she was playing with his hair because she was in cosmetology school at the time, and she curled up his hair like that, and it looked pretty cool. And the layout also has some phrases, and so I pulled those out to play with, and it had some enamel dots, and I had 3 open packages out on my desktop, so we might use those, as well as I have some heart from Storyteller, some hearts, white cardstock to map my photos, and we're going to speed you up and get started. This next clip is just showing me cutting down this piece of pattern paper into strips and then cutting out each ticket. It's really nothing all that special, but I included it anyway since I used the time-lapse mode to record it. So once I cut out the circles that I was going to use from this plate pattern paper, I'm going to show you how to create flare using the circles and some glossy accents. All you do is just put glossy accents over the top of it. I outlined each circle and then filled it in. Now yes, you do get some drainage off the side, which is why it is on a craft mat. Once it dries, you can trim that excess though. So now I'm ready to create my mixed media background. Now hers looked like it was in the shape of a heart slightly, and so I'm kind of trying to do this with this piece of packaging. I kind of mapped out a heart shape. I wish I had made it smaller because my heart ended up a little bit large, but that's okay. I like how this layout turned out in the end, and that's what matters, right? So I'm filling it in just a little bit with the dauber so that I can get a little more definition of the heart, and then I'm going to add in some flicks of watercolor paint as well. So off camera, I let that dry completely, and then I added some machine sewing on it. Yes, I prefer to do this by hand, but I was in a hurry and I dragged out my sewing machine and I made my stitching black rather than the white because I wanted it to stand out just a little bit more. I also only did it in 2 places rather than the 3 that Rebecca used on her layout. So I did also add some fun foam on the back of my photos, and I'm going to go ahead and stick those down onto my layout. Now, one of the other things that you will notice is that my photos are larger. I printed them 2x3, and I think her photos may have been 1x2 or something like that. They were really tiny, and mine are a little larger. So in the end, it worked out well that my heart was bigger because that way it encompassed the entire design that I'm working with. So mostly here, you're just going to see me playing with the tickets and the phrases and the title, kind of trying to get them situated onto the layout in a similar fashion that Rebecca got on her layout. I don't think mine is as symmetrical as hers is, but it did work, and I'm just going to start placing them all down, making sure that I still leave some of that sewing peeking out since, you know, I took the effort out to do that. I will also move these tickets around off camera when I glue them to get some of the colors that are next to each other that are the same or similar, and I'll kind of move them around so that I don't have a bunch of the same color in the same area. So now I'm just going to plop down that homemade or DIY flare that you saw me create at the beginning of the video. Now this took absolutely no time to dry. I have had homemade flare take days to dry. This was dry by morning, so I only had to let it sit overnight. It might have been just a little bit tacky, but it didn't leave any fingerprints or anything on it, and it worked. The only caution I have for you is when you're working with pattern paper and the glossy accents, you might consider like putting some adhesive on the bottom before you plop it down on your craft mat, because mine curled a little bit when they were drying, and when I tried to flatten out the black one, it cracked a little bit. It's okay, I used it anyway. I like how it looks, so I'm quite happy with it. Now I've covered up my photos because I'm going to add some splatters to the layout, but first I want to get all of the enamel dots that I want to use onto my background, and then I'm just going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to dip it into that Prima spray that's Prima Blooms. I think it's called charcoal or something like that. It's kind of a dark grayish black. Anyway, I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to sprinkle it all around my layout, which is why I covered up those photos, because I didn't want any of the ink on there. I'm also going to bring out my Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink spray and do the same. I want to thank you for stopping by my channel today. I really appreciate the people who take the time to like, subscribe, and comment on my videos. If you have a comment or a question about the layout, just drop it below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please make sure you check out my description box below the video. I have a playlist listed of everybody who's participating this month, so you'll get lots of eye candy as you watch each and every one of us do our own take on this layout. I've actually seen a couple of them and they're pretty amazing, so you'll be quite pleased. Also, make sure that you check out the links to Rebecca B's social media underneath there, because she also has some great stuff on Instagram and YouTube for you to check out. Thank you and have a great Sunday afternoon. Bye.